Hello and welcome back to the Aslan Health Podcast. I'm Dr. Mike Hallman. Today we begin a new 3-part series on something you hear everywhere now, gut health. It's all over social media, reels, and wellness ads. We're bombarded with new healthy gut products, prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, and so much more. I get emails from self-proclaimed gut gurus who've never actually treated a patient, suggesting that I recommend their new gut formula for virtually everything. It seems that everybody's talking about gut health these days. But what does that actually mean? Is it just about your bowels or bloating? Is it about inflammation or immunity? Is it about motility or your microbiome? Is it about food or fiber? Or is it about leaky gut, food sensitivities, and mood manipulation? I've heard all of these postulated and so much more. Is gut health just another one of those modern marketing buzzwords that gets stretched so far that it ends up including everything and ultimately means nothing meaningful at all? Well, that's exactly what I plan to reveal in this series on gut health. We'll define what gut health is, why it matters, how your gut works, and why your digestion is deeply connected to your immune system, your nervous system, your energy, your mood, and your overall well-being. All of that without the hype and marketing confusion. In our second episode, we'll reset your gut with what to stop, what to start, and the practical daily habits that support your gastrointestinal system and a healthier you. In the final episode, we'll renew your approach, bringing it all together for the long haul. The gut-brain axis, the role of wise supplementation, and the habits that will help you move from trendy gut talk to sustainable gut stewardship. Now, I know that's a lot to digest. Are you ready to chew on it? Let's go.
Welcome to the Aslan Health Podcast, where science meets soul. Your host for this program is Dr. Mike Hallman, an experienced physician, a certified functional medicine provider, a certified insight coach practitioner, and a devoted follower of Jesus Christ. If you're tired of feeling stressed out, exhausted, overwhelmed, or stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. So take a deep breath. Let's be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Here's Dr. Mike.
So let's begin by answering the question, what is gut health? A recent expert consensus described gut health as a state of normal gastrointestinal function without active gastrointestinal disease and without gut-related symptoms that meaningfully affect an individual's quality of life. Now, that's a helpful definition because it means that a healthy gut is not merely the absence of a gastrointestinal medical diagnosis or a specific GI pathology. It's not just, well, I don't have an ulcer or a tumor, so I guess my gut's fine. Now, that's wonderful that your scans and your endoscopy exams are clear and that you have no structural pathology. Fantastic. But normal anatomy and structure are only part of the picture. Now, you know this to be true in other areas of your health. For example, not every knee pain is a dislocation, a fracture, a tumor, or a derangement, which are all structural issues. You can also have a knee problem because your body part is not working properly. That is a functional issue. So a healthy gut means that your entire digestive system is functioning properly as well. You digest food and absorb nutrients appropriately. You eliminate waste regularly and without difficulty. You're not burdened by ongoing pain, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, reflux, or other GI symptoms. That's a good starting point for a healthy gut function. So here's a helpful analogy. Think of your gastrointestinal tract like a very busy border crossing. The input is massive, the line is long, and there's much constant pressure to enter, both good and bad. Your gut border is presented with food, water, microbes, chemicals, medications, and so much more, requiring it to do something that's incredible. It has to be open enough to permit and absorb what nourishes you, but selective enough to keep out what harms you. This is the ultimate border patrol. It's an extremely high-level job description and a matter of life and death for you. Evaluate, sort, digest, absorb, defend, communicate, repair, repeat. All day, every day, with no time off, ever. Your gut is not just a simple transportation tube from front to back. It's a selective interface between the outside world and the inside of your body. That means that your gut health is much more than digestion. It includes motility, which is how food and waste move through the digestive system at the proper speed, not too fast, not too slow. It includes the intestinal barrier, which helps regulate what crosses into your body from the outside. It includes the immune system because 70 to 80% of your immune system activity occurs at the mucosal border of the gut. This surprises most people, but it makes sense because border patrol guards do their work at the border. That's where the action is. It also includes the microbiome, which is the community of microbes that participate in digestion, metabolism, and signaling. And it includes the gut-brain axis, which is the constant conversation between your digestive tract and your nervous system. My friend, that is why your gut is so important and why gastrointestinal dysfunction can have such a big impact on your overall health and well-being. When your gut is off, your whole body can feel unsettled. So, where do we start? Well, I find that there are three main hot topics causing people the most confusion these days. The gut microbiome, think probiotics, for example. Gut barrier function, think leaky gut, for example. And finally, the gut-brain axis, think brain-body connection, for example. We'll begin with the microbiome because this is where most people either get fascinated, fixated, frustrated, or fortified. Your gut microbiome is an enormous community of about 40 trillion microorganisms. They're all living in your digestive tract. Some are helpful and symbiotic, some are pathologic, and some are opportunistic or context dependent. But all of them exist in relationship with the environment that you create inside of you, which is influenced by what you eat, what you drink, how you sleep, how active you are, your stress level, what medications you use, particularly antibiotics, whether you're inflamed, how your bowels move, and even how your body handles daily rhythms and routines. All of these factors matter because your microbiome is not passive. It is incredibly active. It participates in the production of short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. It influences gut pH, the immune system, gut barrier function. It helps regulate inflammation and signaling through the gut-brain axis. It affects your mood, stress response, and your overall well-being. But here's where I want to offer an important caution. Do not make the perfect microbiome into an idol. It's important, yes. It is fascinating and clinically relevant, but it's not the only piece to your gut health puzzle. Many influencers now speak as though all of medicine can be reduced to, you need more good bugs in your gut. This is not true and it's not wise. You cannot simply take a probiotic and trust that the microbes will sort it all out by next week. Your GI system is far more complicated and multifactorially orchestrated than that, my friend. So let's move on to the intestinal barrier. Marketers seem to love the phrase leaky gut. It gets used loosely, casually, dramatically, and often inaccurately. So let me make the important principle here accurate, understandable, and useful. The lining of your intestines is designed to be selectively permeable. That means it should let the right things into your body and keep the wrong things out of your body. It's a perfect, impeccable border crossing. That is normal, healthy gut physiology. This barrier includes cell signaling, the mucus lining, epithelial cells, tight junctions between the cells, your immune defenses, as well as microbial interactions, and so much more. All of it working together synergistically for your good. When this system is overstrained, disordered, or inflamed, barrier function can be impaired. And that certainly happens in disease states, but also in response to certain stressors, poor dietary patterns, some medications, infections, and physiologic strain. Friend, your input and the context here matter. So, contrary to what's often pushed online, not every person with bloating has a barrier function problem, and not every vague GI symptom deserves a sweeping diagnosis of leaky gut. But neither should we act like barrier integrity is imaginary. It is legitimate, important, and one reason why diet, stress, sleep, and microbiome balance and inflammation all belong in this conversation. So, why does this matter to the average listener? Well, when the gut is not functioning properly, good things cannot easily cross the border, while bad things are allowed across that same border. As a result, the health consequences are often substantial. People feel bloated and miserable. They fear meals because of the symptoms. They develop reflux. They become irritable and fatigued. They may struggle with brain fog or poor sleep, anxiety, and other symptoms like allergies, histamine intolerance, and autoimmunity. The bowel can become constipated or explosive. Friend, the longer this goes on, the more your gut influences not just digestion, but the rest of your daily life. So if your gut symptoms are affecting your quality of life, do not wait until you're doubled over in agony to call this issue significant. Do not minimize chronic bloating, unpredictable bowels, constant discomfort, food fear, anything like that, just because you're still technically functioning. These are all signs of dysfunction, and your quality of life matters. God made you for more than simply surviving stomach aches, chronic cramping constipation, or dreadful daily diarrhea. So, what does good gut health look like? Clinically, it requires some discernment and some individual care. Some people do much better with higher fiber intake while others struggle. Some tolerate yogurt beautifully while others do not tolerate dairy at all. And that's one reason why whole food dietary patterns matter so much. The strongest overall pattern for quality gut health is not exotic. At its foundation, it is, broadly speaking, a Mediterranean-style whole food, minimally processed way of eating. That means fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains if tolerated, olive oil, fish, lean proteins, reduced sugar, and fewer ultra-processed foods. In other words, the answer is usually not more artificial products, it's more real food, just as God created it. I know that's not revolutionary, and it's not exactly the kind of thing that gets a dramatic voiceover or a commercial sponsorship, but it's true. It's because that pattern supports a healthier microbial environment and fewer foods that compromise barrier function, thereby reducing gut stress and inflammation. That brings us naturally to the example of fiber, which has become a victim of its own reputation. Some people say it solves everything. Others say it ruins everything. The truth is in the middle. Allow me to clear the confusion. First, fiber is not one simple thing. Different kinds of fiber behave differently in your gut. There are two main types, soluble and insoluble. Why does that matter? Because the fiber your gut tolerates and thrives on depends on your functional issues, your bowel pattern, your microbiome, and your sensitivities. I find that increasing soluble fiber is often the most useful starting point for many people. It can help with stool formation, bowel regularity, and overall gut function. Psyllium is a common example, but we'll get to those details more in the next episode. Insoluble fiber, especially in large amounts, can aggravate bloating and abdominal distension, causing discomfort. So when it comes to fiber, it's important to understand the type, the dose, the pace, and the context. And one more very important detail, fiber only works when it's accompanied by sufficient fluid. If you increase fiber without paying attention to hydration, you may get more frustration than fruit. Why is that? Because a major function of your colon is to remove water from your waste, conserving your fluid. So, if you are dehydrated, your stool may be too, making it more difficult to pass. Finally, let's talk about the gut-brain axis. I believe this is one of the most underappreciated areas in traditional medicine. Your gut and your brain are in constant conversation, not occasionally or periodically, but constantly. For example, your perceived stress level can change your GI motility, your secretions, your pain perception, appetite, and gut sensitivity. That does not mean that all gut symptoms are just stress, but it does mean that stress is biologically relevant to your gut. You know this if you've ever had travel constipation, nervous diarrhea, loss of appetite during depression or grief, or even a churning stomach, which is anticipating a difficult conversation. Your body is not as compartmentalized as our current medical system may lead you to believe. We cannot neatly divide a person into emotional problems over here and digestive problems over there. Your body, mind, and soul are fully integrated on earth. That is part of God's design, which means the more chronically dysregulated your internal life becomes, the more likely it is that your gut will start speaking up, and sometimes quite loudly. Proverbs 14:30 says, "A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot." That verse does not reduce all disease to emotional issues, certainly, but it does remind us that our inner life and our bodily life are not unrelated. The Psalms and the Proverbs are filled with that kind of language. Physiologically, peace helps, and chronic turmoil hurts. My friend, your gut often reflects that undeniable reality. Before we close today, let me offer a few guardrails. Not every gut symptom is a simple issue. Sometimes symptoms need proper medical evaluation. Persistent blood in the stool, unintentional weight loss, frequent pain, nausea or vomiting, difficulty swallowing or eliminating, recurring fever, anemia, or a family history of colon cancer, Crohn's, celiac, or inflammatory bowel disease. Those are not just gut health issues that can be self-treated indefinitely. Those are important reasons to be thoroughly evaluated. The wise person does not panic, but the wise person also does not ignore those important signs of deeper issues. So what is your reveal exercise for this week? First, start by noticing. Log your GI symptoms. What's your bowel pattern? How do you feel after meals? What foods do you react to? How much ultra-processed food are you actually eating? How much fiber and water do you consume? What are your stress levels like? How's your sleep quality and your daily exercise? Now, I've created a gut healthy go-to guide with a log to make that simple for you. Download it today. Because before you reset your gut, you must reveal the actual impacting factors. And before you buy more products, you need to meaningfully understand the system that you're trying to support. To that end, in our next episode, we're going to get very practical with what to stop doing if you want a healthier gut, what to start doing instead, and how to use food and fiber wisely. The role of hydration, movement, meal rhythm, all for your gut reset. Well, thank you for joining me for this Aslan Health podcast. I'm Dr. Mike Hallman. Check out the show notes for more useful information on this subject. Until next time, my friend, may the Lord grant you wisdom to understand your body, humility to care for it well, and peace in the process of learning what living wisely as a good steward of your health really looks like. God's blessings to you, my friend.